Try something a little new. Hey, y'all. Thanks, Tangi. Oh, trust me, it's been worse. It's been worse. Oh, okay. Here we go. Actor J.D. Williams, Warren. And there he is.
Let's try this one. I got a different device with my old email. Like I said, my other Instagram got hacked today, so I'm this one. So I'm just trying to get it together. But thank you for having me on. Let me try to situate this, but I'm I'm
Yeah.
I'm in the building now.
Yeah, you're golden now. Thank you
Okay.
all for coming in. I appreciate it.
Nah, all right, no problem. Let me see where I can put this, and then we can start the conversation. I'll try to put it here. Oh shit. All right, I think I can back it up. I think I can live with this for now.
There we go.
All right.
If you're good, I'm good. You good?
Okay, I'm here now. I'm here now.
So it was good to see you at the Faith Street naming ceremony. I'm glad I ran into you. And I appreciate your team for putting this together for me. And I've been wanting to have you on for a while. I'm a huge fan. And I think that you are very underrated and you need more flowers,
Thank,
brother. That's
thank,
just my
thank you.
opinion.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So, native Newark. What I don't know is, were you a child actor?
No, not professionally. Like I wasn't on television. I didn't start professionally acting until I was actually like literally 18. I did
Okay.
my first professional job like on my birthday at
Okay.
18. So, but I was always like in schools. I was always on the stage or doing
Yeah.
some type of oration or something like that all the time. But yeah, I did my first official job on my birthday, literally when I turned 18. So
And what was your first official job? What did you do?
I would count it as this national commercial. Um, it was a Doublemint commercial, Doublemint
Mhm.
gum,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and this is like one of the first commercials where they didn't have like the twins. Like people
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. So, um, but yeah, it was on my birthday, May 22nd. Shot in Brooklyn. It was super hot. It was like 98 degrees or something like that. Great experience. That was back when my name was DB Williams instead of JD.
Okay.
And I couldn't take the director calling DB all day. So I said, I am not going to have people calling me DB, even though those are my actual initials.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't do that. So I changed it to JD. But yeah, that was my first job. My first, like I said, official job. And even to this day, that was like something that, back then we used to do national commercials.
Hmm.
That would be a lot of money. So,
Now, how does the pay for that goes? Do you get paid every time it aired, or did you just get one payment, or you got paid every time it aired?
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why commercial actors kind of sometimes they stay commercial actors because,
Hmm.
like, let's say like somebody like me or somebody in The Wire who's like a main character.
Hmm.
uh, Once you make over a certain amount, like it's harder for them to hire you on commercials because it becomes endorsement instead of
Got you.
promotion. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why like a lot of actors stop doing commercials as they get more popular because they make you stop doing commercials. Because commercials is the best kind of money. Something running all day, and then they'll add it up like every 2 months and then send you a nice check for however many times it played. And then every like 4 months, if they're going to keep using the commercial, they have to renew that deal. So you get a check for the renewal and then a check for it playing. So yeah, commercials are great. That's like some of the best, easiest money. You probably work 1 day, 2 days to shoot the commercial, and then boom, you pay. I think when I first started working, I appreciate them so much is because when I first started working, in my first like 2 years, I probably did like 20, 30 commercials.
Wow.
So
you were on a roll, like right from the door. Like soon you started, you were just on a roll.
Yeah, I was blessed to definitely be on a roll. Like I said, great ones: Toys R Us, KFC. What was the one we was just talking about?
Doublemint.
Yeah, Doublemint. It was a lot of different commercials. But like I said, I was fortunate enough for them to be national commercials. So, and like I said, when you start getting things in the glut. So I'm like 18, just about to turn 19, and it's like $1,200 checks coming like every 7 days, maybe every 6 days.
Wow.
And so I have to explain this to my grandmother that I'm not selling drugs, because she's like, you just turned 18.
So wait, your family didn't know that you started acting and you were out here working like a working actor?
Yeah, but nobody takes it serious when, like, oh yeah, just go do your audition and come back home, like nobody sees it until they see it, so I had done like I don't know, a couple of commercials already, but my grandmother, she was like, whatever, like, like, and then when I finally got, I got my little bit of money, I wanted to move out the house, and, long as, I moved out, or if I could send something back or whatever it was, go ahead, go out, go ahead. But yeah, but my grandmother, like, she didn't even watch me do a lot of the stuff because she was always saying, like, that's not me, So she didn't want to see me behaving in a way that she didn't raise me, So a lot of stuff she'll be aware of, and she's proud of me, but she wasn't concerned with me playing no gangster.
And so in you coming up and being in productions in school, who was the inspiration that signaled you that you could be more than just on stage and you could actually be in commercials on TV? What was the thing that made you have that extra drive?
I mean, everybody, really, to be honest. My family always told me, they always treated me like I was already famous. So people say I have like a humility, but that's because I was always treated this way. So as long as people show me love, even if they don't, I still, most of the time, I show love back. But my family always treated me the way that people think they see me now, like just that type of motivation and, positivity. So I just convert that. That's all. It's not a thing where I'm like, oh, it's me and I'm so talented and dope that everybody loves me. No, it's not that. It's just I always kind of felt like, or have been blessed with the environment that, I can receive that type of, attention, and, I can just have it. So that's what it's always been. And then, like I said, yeah, I'm gonna do my best at my craft. I'm gonna try to murk whatever I can do.
Right.
But that's just in the pursuit of, my own gift fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? It's not to accrue any type of power or anything like that. Not for me. I mean, I know some people do like to get more famous so they can get more, attention, so they can have more power. But I mean, I never been in it for that because I only have real concern for leading, those I love and those that's close to me. I don't care about like having a bunch of people follow me. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just going to the store. So I don't need everybody on me,
So, what would you consider outside of the commercials your first big break?
I guess it would be Oz, but like I said, I was blessed with a great roll up. When I first started, it was like I went straight from I did the Law and Order, and then New York Undercover, and then it went right into Oz, and there was a bunch of stuff in as I was going to that, but I did, all of that stuff came like within like a year and a half or something like that.
That's
So
kind of unheard of, though. That's kind of unheard of.
well, like I said, also I think it also comes due to the fact that like I was in a drama high school for like that 4 years. So when I got unleashed into the audition world, I was kind of like like a boxer, ready to. So I was going into auditions with all of this, verve and assuredness and confidence because I had been doing it for 4 years. Every day I would go to school. We spent 2 hours like working on something, improvising, doing something. So I didn't have any fear about walking into a room and just turning it on or whatever it was. And then with commercials, I'm young. Probably look like a little midget man or something like that. Who knows? But I knew how to sell. So a commercial, you selling, you smiling a lot, thumbs up and, whatever. So commercials was easy. And then like when I would go into audition for a play, I was doing plays just now for the last 4 years. So I can project and I know how to break, I can do a play. People would start calling me for music videos. And so it was just all of this stuff was kind of just, like I said, I think it was that I had just this consistency with, how I was presenting myself, so I think that all came together. Like for a while, I felt like I was a chain that rappers would wear, call me for your music video, you know what I'm saying? Just have me over here, da 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 da. I'm like, oh, that's cool, so I got recognized. It just was a matter of, like I said, you got to kind of direct that and shave it off and, guide it. I wasn't, like I said, I've never been interested in doing it to be a billionaire or nothing like that. But I definitely want to, express myself. I want to be able to help my family. I want to experience as much in life as I can, but I'm not pressed to be like everywhere all the time.
Right. For Oz, the time that it came out and the network that it came on, HBO, it was way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. And one could almost think I'm going to be on a sinking ship or I'm going to be on something that's trailblazing. What take did you have going into it?
Oh, I was so young, but I had no choice but to trust the pedigree. It was HBO. It's Tom Fontana, Barry Levinson. I mean, these are people that have been doing this before I was born, probably. So, and then, like I said, I have to look around at what's around me. Rita Moreno's around me, EGOT, she got all of that. But before we even did, she had all that already. We switching directors every episode. It was what it was. It reminded me of school as far as it was such a playground for all of this actual real acting. Like it was all of these people that I was just learning from. I was, like I said, I was 8. I had just turned probably 19. So I was just learning from that entire process. But that's what I definitely got from that. Like, and I look at like certain shows as school stages. Some stuff like I would consider, Oz would be, high school, and Y would be college, and so forth and so on. Other stuff would be kind of undergrad. But yeah, but Oz definitely, I feel like that was outside of school. That was my number one training ground. When I don't look back at Oz that much because it feels like looking at old home videos. So I really don't, not because of what I'm doing on the video, but it's like, oh, I remember that day. Like, oh, we went and got this, we went and ate after this, or that's the day I brought my dogs to the set, or this is that. So it's like, it reminds me of all this other stuff that happened outside of what I'm watching, you
Yeah.
know?
And the beautiful thing that happened during that time, because it was also a great time for hip hop. Hip hop was forming in coming into its own, and Oz, the characters on Oz also became ingrained into the culture. And so
Mhm.
as hip hop grew and as black culture grew in the way of hip hop, you guys became celebrities just based off of what you projected on the screen as it related to the culture. So you
Yeah.
guys all grew along with that whole movement and became popular from that. What was that like, being on the other side of that, being in that movement?
Well, I mean, you know, as everything that I've basically done throughout my life is kind of, you know, parallel to hip hop, you know, just
Mhm.
because we both came around at the same time.
Mhm.
But yeah, as it relates to Oz, for sure, you know, and a lot of the people that created Oz were big, you know, hip hop fans. They might have been like, you know, 45, 50-year-old white dudes, but that's what they came from. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Also. And so that's why you would have people like, you know, Method or Tretch
Mhm.
or, you know, things, people like that on the show. But yes, even me, like it was circular because even me, I started the do-rag trend. Like the way that people wear do-rag now, if you let it
Mhm.
hang off your neck, I did that first. If you wear it around your back, I did that first. If you wear it sideways, I did that first. If you wear it and you tie the thing to your side and stick it in the side, I did that first. Like I did all of this stuff on, you know, the why. Even the tank top, putting your tank top over your neck, not your regular shirt, your
Yeah.
tight ass tank top over your neck, chest out in the yard.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, it was a lot of things like that that we had to, you know, take into account. But to your point, yes, it was a lot of influence going back and forth. And I know that I myself, as being one of the youngest people on that set, if not the youngest on that set, I was totally aware of that. I was completely
But
aware of that.
character wise, if I remember correctly, character wise, you were supposed to be the youngest, right?
For sure, as
Yeah.
far as, yeah, for sure as characters. I mean, but I never thought about it like it was real, so I never really looked at myself like I'm like, oh, they're an actor, I'm an actor. That's a man, I'm a man. I never really thought about it until like later. Like I'm like, damn, you was like 19, 20, and 21, and they was all grown, you know, but they was my big brothers, you know, like sometimes I would be in like somebody's room while they're getting dressed and they working on their lines and I'm watching them while I'm sitting on the edge of, you know, they bed or their chair or whatever, and I'm watching them get into character. Like I was able to bounce in and out of everybody's space. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because I was the little energy ball. You know what I'm saying? I was the little kid in real life. But I never, like I said, I never thought about it like that. I just was like, you know, just know when to be quiet. And when it's your turn to step up, do your thing, and all
Hmm.
your big brothers gonna let you rock because they like when he don't, you know, when he on camera, like we all gotta be like, little man be on it. And that's
Right.
it. And as long as, so that was my whole thing. Just make sure I do my job. And so everybody, like I said, everybody on that set took care of me like, as a little bro. Like Adewale, Hal Paranu, Lee Turgeson, Dean Winters, the homie, Chris Maloney was mad cool to me. Like everybody, even J.K. Simmons, everybody at some point took me to the side or talked to me about something or, you know, helped me out along the way. So that was like some of the best training I could have ever got. That's why, you know, I'd be looking
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, from the outside looking in, it looked like there was a pipeline from HBO to NBC to like Law and Order, and then from Oz. Talk to me about that relationship a little bit, because it seemed like you guys shared jobs in between the networks. And like, did you guys put each other up for other roles and recommend each other? How did that go?
Nah, I think I like really like full disclosure. I think I just jumped in and I was just running through everything. Like
Wow.
it
Okay.
didn't whatever. Like it was just my time at the time. Like I said, I was primed. you know? So whether it was a commercial, a TV show, an indie, and then I would pop up in a little role here in a movie, but it was like I was just constantly working. So when you doing that and your agents is like, I'm not wasting a spot sending him out on an audition or a job, no matter what it is, because he might come back with it. You know what I'm saying? So I was going out for everything. I had a very high audition frequency. Like I was going out they were sending me out for everything because I was able to do everything, or I felt like I could, you know? So as far as like going from here to there, to there, to there, to there, I wouldn't be so bold as to say that, you know, like that's automatic or every actor can do it or it happens that way. I think, like I said, it happened for me that way because I was just like trained, you know what I'm saying? Like I was ready to go. I wasn't letting nobody slide with anything. I remember this one audition, it was like about 400 people in one day. And I knew, even though I saw people coming in and going out, I knew I still had it. That's how I was in my brain. Like, I'm like, 400 people, I got this. I don't know what they're going to do with the rest, but I got this. And there was only 4 parts to have. So that's how I came out of school. You know what I'm saying? With that type of mentality. But yeah, it definitely, everything kind of rolled into itself. But like I said, I think that's because my preparation and my agents kind of trusted me to, you know, not embarrass them. They trusted me to understand, all right, this is different from that and go in and do this. And so I just was everywhere, man. I was everywhere and I always put my best foot forward. And luckily, like I said, I was blessed to be able to do so many different types of, you know, things in so many different places, you know?
Yeah. When you landed the role of The Wire and you're working on that set, do you guys know what you're creating? Do you feel that same energy that it turned into? Do you feel that you're cooking up something that could be historical?
At first, I wasn't sure. I knew who created the show, you know, David Simon, Ed Burns. David Simon also created Homicide in the Corner. So, you know, I knew it was going to be a great crime drama kind of thing. And then when I look around at who else is there, it's all the, you know, new up and coming or the people that have been grinding for a while, whether it's, you know, Idris or Andre Royal or Sonia. But I'm like, oh, I know who that is. Oh, I seen them for a while. Oh, this is going to be kind of dope. You know, Wendell Pierce. Oh, that's fire. Wood Harris. Oh, hell yeah. So everybody that was involved, it was somebody I was like, oh, I see them coming up. And then they all turn on me and be like, nah, I seen you in Oz. You this. So I'm like, oh, we all love each other. We support each other. So the cast was strong. I knew that was going on. So the writing, the concept, the channel, the cast. So by the time I knew exactly what was being done, I was like, it's going to be strong. I didn't expect it to have such a slow burn, like to where like people like catch it like wild late and then keep catching it. But I feel like that's a blessing into itself, you know? So, but yeah, once I saw it coming together, I saw we had a strong, you know, cast. I mean, I couldn't deny that it was quality. I didn't know people would receive it the way it's being received, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about your fondest memory of Michael K. Williams.
Oh, my brother Mike. Probably, I mean, I got a couple, but the first one that comes to my head, which is all the time, is like right after my daughter was born, right? I think she was a couple of months. She wasn't that old. She was real little. Like I had her in the baby car seat, right? And for one reason or another, he was like a couple of blocks away from me in East Orange. He lived like right around the corner. So, you know, like he was like one of the first people I took, you know, to show my daughter to. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool because, you know, like she's very alert and, you know, we had a good experience, but I was just proud to even just be like, yo, what you doing? Oh, nothing. Like, oh, it's just me and my daughter here. What you up to? Oh, nothing. I'm coming around the corner. I'm bring the baby so you can see her. All right, cool. Come on. And so, load her up, take her around the corner real quick, showing her off, and him getting a chance to look at her and see her. And like I said, it was such a small thing, especially with him, like, literally being close. He was close enough to walk, but I took the car type of thing, So, but yeah, I think that's one of my fondest memories. Like I said, I got a couple. Me and Mike, we had a couple good times out at night nights in Baltimore out together, and just kicking it like on balconies, talking about whatever we're working on, just catching up to each other. We would always catch up to each other because he would always sneak out here too. Like he would sneak in and out of Essex County, in and out of Newark, in and out of East Orange. He would come pop in and out all the time. And, everybody going to tell me when they saw him, so, but yeah, man, but that I think that was one of the best things, man. I went to go show my baby off to him. That was great.
That's a good memory. It's a great memory. Mm-hmm. There was another story that you shared with me. You probably won't remember. It was about an actor. I won't name their name, but they joined the cast of The Wire later on, and they came in with a great attitude. This is a Caucasian actor. Again, I won't say his name, but I think you know who I'm talking about. So
I know who you're talking about.
So from an actor's standpoint, just talk about the vibe and that experience of that type of energy being on the set and people are trying to be creative and what kind of hindrance that type of energy brings.
Well, like I said, luckily I didn't hear anything about his opinion of that until later. And I didn't really have that many, I ain't have no scenes with him. Mm-hmm. My umbrage, my problem was that he called it low budget looking. And I'm like, how do we look low budget? Do you see the cast alone would cost enough money? And then it's the writers and then how it's shot. I'm like, you didn't know what you was looking at if you called us low budget ever. And I just felt disrespected. Like, and I mean, it could have just slid by, which it did, but that just really pissed me off real bad. It did. But yeah, like that type of thing, we've never had the core of us. And so I don't want to be all exclusionary, but the second season, people ain't really come back. They ain't really hold the show together. They were an addition, an addendum, a supplement to the show, which we appreciate. Shout out to all my second season people. But us, the core of the show, we ain't never had that type of nonsense, that type of attitude around us. We invited each other. We always saw each other as up. We never saw each other as down. When Snoop came around, she never acted before, but none of us was like, oh, who is this boy looking girl you got coming over here trying to act, and why is she in our why is she one of the best characters now? Like none of that was going on with us. So that's another reason why I think I took such an affront to him talking like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bugging.
And when you told me that the first time, I knew exactly what you were talking about because my attitude, and I wasn't in it, but how dare you come to my house and shit on my house? Like,
yo, tripping. Like, like he said it like we was doing him a favor. Like, he's like, I saw it. It looked kind of gritty, a little low budget, but I thought that da-da-da-da. Boy, if you don't... if you don't get your going somewhere, no, you should be grateful to be working with the people that's already here, established something. You should have been like, oh, I thought that it was great writing. I thought the story was interesting. I wanted to, get in and work with all of these other, great creators that was doing this. What you talking about? We look low budget. What you talking about? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. You triggered me. You triggered me off that. So, but yeah.
I think stuff like that is important to know, especially for people that are looking to get into the business, because sometimes you will run into those situations. Everything's not always nice, sweet, shiny, pretty. Sometimes, your favorite people are the worst people.
For sure, for sure. Well, like I said, also, well, and I can't speak for, like I said, that doesn't apply the way we were on The Wire. That doesn't apply to every set,
Right,
obviously, right?
right, right.
Um, but yes, The Wire particularly, we all very much were insulated in a certain way that we protected each other. We messed with each other real heavy. So
Mhm.
that's another reason why I think that people can feel that there's a solidarity in there, a quality to the show that they can always kind of turn to.
Mhm.
But yeah, but other sets, even that's why, like, on other sets, if it's too big, I'll do my scene, make sure I meet the director, the DP, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, second AD, and take my maybe catering, take my butt back in my room. That's it. Because it's so much that goes on sometimes, and a set is about communication.
Mhm.
So if things are not clear, it's going to be chaos. So, and for things to be clear, you need to be your butt out the way
Mhm.
and where you need to be when you need to be there. But The Wire, like I said, mainly we didn't have that type of problem for the most part.
Do you have a favorite director that you work with?
I had so many good ones. Ernest Dickerson jumps to my head right away. He directed Juice,
Mhm.
and he directed Bodhi's death scene.
Mhm.
So, and a couple of other episodes, but he was one of the directors that to talk to me a lot. I thought about Bob Balaban. He was great. He actually read my first script, which was dope. Who else? Oh, Clark Johnson. Clark Johnson is one of the dopest directors ever. He's a dope director, actor, writer. Clark Johnson is the man. Who else? And like I said, I work with some fire directors. I mean, I could call out other people, but yeah, Nzinga, somebody actually wrote
Yes.
Nzinga Stewart in here. She was a roommate to my cousin in college, and that's how we kind of got in touch with each other. And so she put me in a bunch of the music videos. She put me in the What We Do video. She put me in the Lumidi Uh-Oh video. I think it was another video she threw me in too. But yeah, Zinga did that. And shout out to Zinga. I saw that episode of Spider Noir you did. Shout out, big sis. Keep doing it. Um, yeah, man. I mean, it's a bunch of directors that I work, but those are the ones that's just off the top of my head. And,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking too hard because, like I said, I can remember Celebrity was I loved working on Odds with Kathy Bates. She was dope.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I could go on and on, but yeah, those are my top ones. If anyone's other ones pop out, I'll just yell them out to you.
And shout out to Tangi Gilliam. She is Oil House Productions. She's also a filmmaker and director.
All right.
So I asked you about directors. Do you have just a couple of actors that you have that perfect synergy with and you can just feed off of in an acting scene with?
Yeah. I mean, usually, like, a lot of times you don't get paired up with those people again. A lot of times,
Mhm.
but sometimes, yeah, you'll get with somebody that you share similar energy with. Like me and Idris, when we did scenes together, like we didn't have to rehearse already. Like we probably talked about it like that night before,
Mhm.
and we might have ran through it one time on set, but
Mhm.
we kind of know where each other is going already.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? What we looking for, what you doing, what's this, what's that. Me and it just had a really good energy. Me and my man Adewale from Oz, who played at a BC.
Yeah.
Uh, I had to have a good a good relationship with him,
Yeah.
but a lot of us also did have good improv and reading each other skills on Oz because that was an enclosed space. And
Mhm.
so it was like, if you come up with something and you want to try it, you better do it quick and it better
Right.
fit. Somebody better get it. So that was cool. But yeah, I've had a couple of like really, really, like I said, good partners. But just to answer your question, I really had a great time when me and Driss had to do scenes together. I felt like we already knew where we wanted to go with whatever each other was going to say.
Yeah, that's what's up. What were your shooting days like on Oz? Like, what were the time frames that you shot?
Let's say one episode would take 10 business days, so 2 weeks, right? Let's say one episode would take about 2 weeks. So my character, let's say I'll probably work like maybe anywhere between 2 out of 4 of those days.
Okay.
So maybe depending on what it is I'm doing, maybe off 4 days in that 1 week, and then they won't see me for another week and a half, or maybe it's 4 days spread out, or maybe I'm just in one scene this whole episode, so maybe it might be one day. But usually it's over, 2 weeks, depending on how much they wrote you in. So like my favorite episode I ever did was I got paid the same amount just to come in and stand in the background and for like a half hour. And I was like, that's the dopest thing I ever did in my life. Yo, I swear. I was like, yo, I ain't have to do nothing but stand back here. And I got paid a whole check. Like you like, yo, 20 G's to do nothing. Yes, Lord. But yeah, but it's like that. Yes, 2 weeks, depending on how much they write you in. But like somebody like me, like a peripheral character, how I was, I might do something like between 2 to 4 days, right? But then obviously you got like, somebody that might be like McNulty, he might work, 6 out of those 10 days, something like that.
Was it a big difference being on the set for like Oz and then going to the set of Sopranos?
Not really, because everybody kind of had the same style. Only thing about Oz, like I said, Oz was inside, so everything was inside. That was the main thing. But that's also why we was able to do stuff quick. Like, yo, what you need to do? Oh, we need to set up this. We gotta break down this wall so that we can move the camera through. We need to do this. We need to do the whole roving shot all over the thing. And so we gotta spend all day rehearsing this one move. With the camera, and so we could all end up in the right place at the right time, that type of thing. So, but it was the same style. It just, because it was really about like efficiency. Like you ain't gonna go out there, whether I was on Sopranos or whether I was on Sex and the City, I'm not gonna be messing up too many takes. You ain't out there messing up a bunch of takes. So you do it, and get it over with, move on. So,
what was that Sex in the City like? I mean, because that was kind of a reverse. So it's more like you're in the women's world now. What was that like?
It was fun. I mean, it was. See, the thing with that is I don't think I had any lines, but I was a part of this like crew thing that was going on, and the whole point was that Samantha was dating a black man, and then she gets into this fight with his sister in the club.
I remember that.
And then we're supposed to break. We're his artists because he's like supposed to be like a record mogul, Puff Daddy or whatever.
Right.
And so we break up the fight. That's all it is. Like I'm dressed like a rapper. I'm standing there, and I get to grab Samantha. I get to grab her to help them break up the fight. That's all that was. However, the set itself is still, they looked at me like, oh, I'm from a brother or a sister show. I'm from Oz. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that. So I think I had already was up to season 3 on there. So it's like they already looking at it like, damn, we wish you could give you some lines, but we don't got a character for you. So there you go. Like it was just really just to have us, link through the shows, But I love being on the set. They treated me with, like I said, I got a lot of respect, a lot of attention. I got to see, just that type of different energy. But it was a great experience, just like Sopranos. Sopranos was like, basically, they shot that like almost basically across the street from my literal house. So I went and shot it, and then I went back across the little river right to my house, right across the water. So it was like you could see my house from where we were shooting it. So
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, so like HBO, like I said, has always been pretty breezy and welcoming for me. But yeah, Sopranos wasn't. I mean, Sex and the City wasn't too much different. It felt great though. I love doing all the HBO joints. That, Sex and the City, Sopranos, The Night Of. I'm pretty sure it's something I'm forgetting. So,
Yeah,
oh
you've been blessed, brother, to have attached yourself to some great projects, and not only just great projects artistically, but culturally impactful, and that just doesn't happen every day. That people couldn't even almost wish for that, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, I think it's also like it comes from my school training. Like
Mhm.
in Arts High, right? To graduate in drama, like you would either write a scene or choose a scene, then you have to cast it and direct it and have somebody else, other students from the school come and do it.
Mhm.
My last 2 years of school, like most of the seniors wanted me in their plays because they knew they was going to get an A. Because
Mhm.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to do it. And then
Yeah.
when it was my turn to be a senior, same thing. Like I'm in everybody's joint and they in mine so we can, so we can get an A. So it's about the consistency, the quality of what I was doing. I think when I came out, I was so focused on making sure I was consistent that it kind of showed in so many different ways. Like, yeah, I'm professional. I can project. I know how to orate. I'm quick on my feet. I can improv. I can ad lib. I can do all of these things if I had to. But I think it was just like I said, more so about the consistency of like, all right, I'm here now, and I'm here now, and I'm the same way. So people know when they hire me, they know what they're gonna get. They know. They're like, yo, we can call JD. He gonna hold that part down. We don't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? We wish he was a little bit more brown, but we can't do nothing about that. So yeah, that's about it. So I just rock with it. That's all.
Ever feature any of that? Did you ever come across any colorism?
For sure, all the time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely all the time, still, yes, to this day. But look, a lot of things I don't get because if the rest of the cast is white and they need some obviously brown skin, I could kill the role, but they like, nah, because somebody gonna be like, yo, everybody all white. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
get that, and I've seen that. Like, it's movies that I've went out for, gotten close to getting a screen test, and you can look at it and be like, all right, they chose that person over you, but who is that? We never seen that dude ever again in life because they chose him just because his skin was dark. Not to say that he couldn't act, but
Yeah.
the difference between you and I is that him and I was that he had the darker skin. Because I
Yeah.
definitely was more popular than that dude. I
Yeah.
definitely was. And like I said, if I look at the rest of the cast, I'm like, like if I'm just like not being like not taking it as an insult. If I look at the
Hmm.
rest of the cast, I'm like, yeah, I would be like just as light skinned as the rest of the cast. Somebody gonna start tripping. Not to say I wouldn't get a tan, like all they got, I do that, I do it. But I understand. I understand. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I definitely several roles I didn't get because, like I said, just for the complexion of the whole cast, I was, I wouldn't fit in. Not my complexion. And like I
Yeah.
said, that's one thing I learned in school too. Like, or as a theater kid, you don't. A lot of times when you don't get something, you don't take it personal. You take it personal if you suck. If you know you're not good, and you just like, oh, they're not picking me because I'm not good at it, you're gonna start feeling bitter. But if you know you're good and you don't suck, then you don't judge yourself in that harsh way where you like, oh, I'm not good enough. No, it just wasn't for you.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
actually
what.
heard something today in an interview with somebody else, and they didn't get a role in the audition just simply because of what they had on. It's as simple as that.
That can happen. That can certainly happen. Sometimes casting directors don't have the imagination. So maybe, you know, if you can help them out a little bit, yeah, but I never go into auditions. I mean, especially when I was younger, I never went into an audition dressed like the character. I mean, if I happened to look like it, I did, but I never went into like an audition to play a young doctor with a lab coat on, you know, or something like that, or to go audition to play a lawyer with, you know, a whole suit and a briefcase. But I also wouldn't go in to do that with like a hoodie on, you know, or, you know, something like that. So it's like, because there's a neutrality in it. Like, especially if you already know what you look like. It took me a while to be like, I mean, throughout my whole 20s, how young did I look? Like, I have to age myself up somehow, because if I'm 28 and they keep telling me I look 21, but they don't want me to play a dad, you know, I'm just now getting to the look where I can play a dad of multiple kids. You know, like they're like, okay, now you look like somebody's dad. I'm like, thank you. Even though I've been a dad for 18 years, you know, so casting directors, sometimes they just don't see it, you know. But I figured that out way back in, I want to say in like 2000, maybe before that. Because when we used to have shows like, remember that show Platinum?
Yes.
All right. So if we saying that was based off of like young record executives, right? But remember, Jermaine Dupri, when he started So Def, he was 17. True. When Puff started Bad Boy, he was like, same thing, 17, 18. Yeah. But they couldn't see in that show. I remember everybody auditioning for that show. They couldn't see the record guys being young. They had to look like they was already 30 years old or something like that. I'm like, that's not how it started. Like, no. These dudes was young, you know, like, so, yeah. So casting directors a lot of times don't have a lot of imagination. So sometimes
it's your job as an actor to help them see it. You have to help them.
Sometimes you have to help them for sure. Sometimes you do.
What's the role that you're most known for that people walk up to you and they connect you with?
I would say Bodie right now for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of the young kids right now is like recognizing BMF, Jay Pusha. So a lot of young kids is like, yo, you Jay Pusha. So that one. But I'd say Bodie still got the lead right now.
Okay.
Yep. But Jay Push is creeping up on him.
So tell me what's going on for you in 2026. What's happening this year?
The same thing, man. Actually looking for a new series to get into. If God's willing, then I have one very, very soon. I'll be able to tell you about it. You know, I just submitted my second audition for it today. So that seems like it'll go well. But right now I'm in the act of producing and creating a bunch of my own things, helping my friends produce some of their projects. Shout out to Newark. I have my thing, Super Talk, going on, and Trial by Jury. And like I said, that's the stuff that keep me, you know, honed and sharp and busy while I'm, you know, in between time and in the meantime, you know.
So do you prefer to be in the room, or do you don't mind self-tape?
No, I definitely prefer to be in the room. I think most of us do. Self-tape is cool, but you know, you never know what they want, you know. So yeah, so you send it in, and they might have had one little adjustment for you, but you're not gonna hear it. So right. I would certainly prefer to be in the room, because then, you know, that's one of the main things also that casting directors I always know casting directors look for. They always look for someone who can take direction, you know, because if you can make an adjustment for me here, when the director tells you something, then you can make an adjustment for the director. You don't get to do that like when you record it, you know, when you pre-record.
So true. And I like direction. I like having, you know, give me a path to work down. Yeah.
For sure.
So what would your advice be to actors coming in the game currently today?
Same thing I've been saying, and the same thing I've been following ever since I got in. I mean, you got to be persistent and consistent. Just keep doing the same thing the same way. And something is going to happen. Something is going to change. Something is going to get revealed. And the second thing is you gotta be honest with yourself. You know, if you're not 6'3", don't act like you 6'3". You know what I'm saying? Like, because in this business, people are gonna judge you. Period. So it's better for you to be honest with yourself before somebody come in and rip you apart because you're not being honest with yourself. If you suck, they're gonna tell you you suck. If you don't look like, you know, the hero or the leading man, they're gonna tell you, no, you look like the bad guy. We want you to play the bad guy. And you might take it like personally, like, well, I gotta be the bad guy. Cause you look like the bad guy. Just get this bread and let's do it. Like, that's just it. You know? So
yeah, lean into your strengths. Lean into the strengths.
But it's a lot of also, like I said, you gotta take the ego out. You gotta strip your ego down. And really see that if it's about your talent or your craft, or if you want to entertain people, or if you're trying to do all of that to make a platform, then you gotta own it, whatever it is. You can't be running around here in a wheelchair trying to be Jackie Chan. It ain't gonna work. You know, so you know.
We're at the time in the show where I open up my forum to my guests and I get them to do a manifestation of anything that they want. But I find that this portal is powerful, and a lot of great things have come from the manifestations that happen here. So I'm going to open the forum up to you, and you have at it, manifest whatever it is you like.
Oh, well, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, and thank you for having me on this show. Thank you for giving me this space to, you know, express some energy and let it out. And hopefully, you know, with the blessings of the universe, it'll come back. I would like to manifest that the rest of this year going into the next, myself, you, and everybody else watching will get a chance to really show and be exactly who we are, who we need to be, to build on the best of us, to get rid of the worst of us, you know, to be able to be there for the people that you love and you want to be there for and you want to support, to have that ability and the strength to do all of those things. And yeah, like, to keep it simple also, hopefully let's make a lot of money so we can do the things that we want to do. And yeah, and like I said, it's all about, you know, for me, you know, peace, love, and understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell people where they can follow you and keep up with you, and, you know, catch you when you make moves.
All right. Well, look, y'all follow me right here, JDX Williams. Not at that bogus one that I was trying to call from earlier when we first tried to start the show. I don't know why it wouldn't work. I don't know, but JDX Williams right here on Instagram. Any type of business, you can either hit me on jdwilliamsgroup@gmail or jdwilliamsent22 at Gmail. My Twitter account got hacked too, so I ain't doing that no more. But we around. We working on a couple of projects. Like I said, I got my people in Detroit. We working on Fire Line, and we got a couple of things going on here in Jersey. Hopefully you'll see Super Talk and Try by Jewelry real soon. We're working on that. But yeah, your boy JD, I'm around. I'm here. Thanks for having me, Chike. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime you want to talk about anything, you want to plug, promote, whatever, you can always come back here. I've been trying to get you on for so long. I'm glad we could finally make it happen. Appreciate your time and your energy, brother. Blessings to you.
Same to you. Thank you again. Everybody else, God bless. Y'all stay well. Peace.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Yes, sir.